Hila Klein served as the aide-de-camp to the commander of the IDF brigade, specifically tasked with conducting security operations.
First of all, L at taking Gato Fumador at their word. Why in God's name would you ever reference this account as like a reliable source of information? For the record, she was a secretary. They are talking about her as though she was a fucking SS officer marching people into the ovens. Like, that's how they're talking about her, which is not an accident. This is a deliberate framing that they're going for. If you see this clip and you walk away thinking, oh yeah, standard bloodthirsty IDF soldier, you're a fucking psychopath.
In the video you're watching, go right before they clicked on that clip. Like when they're like, we're gonna watch this clip, just listen to what one of the hosts says. It'll blow your fucking mind.
Like any kind of violence that Israeli settlers or the Israeli military experiences in the West Bank is literally legal, okay? It is legal resistance against an occupying military force. I cannot repeat this enough. Just like any kind of violence that the Israeli occupying force experiences in the Gaza Strip is actually, once again, totally legal and totally moral resistance by the Palestinians. Doesn't matter if they're the Al-Aqsa Brigade, doesn't matter if they're a part of the Palestinian Islamic Jihad, doesn't matter if they're DFLP, PFLP, or even former Fatah militants, okay? It is perfectly legal, perfectly valid, and perfectly moral. Every type of armed resistance against both the settlers and also the Israeli occupying force in the West Bank. Doesn't matter if it's your favorite podcasters like Wife that participate.
And they're laughing about it. It's just not funny. Like, it's not a funny thing to joke about. It's not. It's very kind of primitive behavior, in my opinion. It's just not that difficult to behave like normal human beings, you know? It really shouldn't take this much effort. Like, imagine if you were out with a group of people and you got into a debate about like this very topic. Like, would you look at someone in the eye and be like, hey, do you think maybe it would have been justified to kill your wife? No one would ever do that. Like, this is just such a like very terminally online kind of take. No one would do that. People would think like, whoa, wait, why are we crossing that line? Like, why are you making specific references here? Especially given light of everything that's happened since then. It's just like completely unacceptable rhetoric. And they all play dumb. They all pretend like they don't understand what a dog whistle is, or they don't understand what the idea of responsibly moderating your community to not feed into something that has become toxic to the point where there's these real life consequences. And it's just like a fucking joke to these people. Like, none of this is funny.
So what's your response to that? Because obviously a lot of people are taking it in the most bad faith, you know, just unhinged. Oh, he's trying to, you know, call for the assassination of Ethan Klein's wife, who was a former IDF soldier. Yeah. And clearly he was.
Oh, did I mention that Hila is a former IDF soldier? Guys, did I mention that yet?
I mean, if I'm his attorney, I say that could have been referencing his own potential wife, even if it had been somebody so near and dear to my client that they had persecuted these unspeakable acts. Well, unfortunately or fortunately, depending on your perspective, they would be protected under international law. That was the point that my client was trying to lay out for everyone, right? So, like, let's just say if I'm legally trying to get Hasan off the hook, he covered his bases right there, dog. He covered his bases. He gave himself tons of plausible deniability. He did not call, you know, like, as far as the First Amendment goes, he's totally protected. Now, that doesn't mean that, you know, Twitch couldn't decide to act. Like, Twitch is a private company. It's owned by Amazon and Jeff Bezos and all that shit. So they could act as fascist as they want to. But when people in chat are bringing up like the FBI and like, oh my gosh, what if Hasan gets investigated? Like, Hasan can afford a really good lawyer. That really good lawyer is going to present a far better argument than I just did. And even that right there would kind of protect him from free speech grounds, as far as like an individual in America is allowed to say that and make that argument that he just did. I happen to pretty much agree with it. Like, would I have thrown that line out about Hila Klein or a podcaster's like maybe not, but
I mean, that's kind of mind-blowing to me, because if you acknowledge that you wouldn't have done it yourself, then you understand intuitively why it was problematic. Why is it so hard to just be critical of Hasan in this moment and say, yeah, that was in poor taste. Like, that was too far. You're expressing to me that you understand on some level, like, why it wasn't okay. And yet you, because of, I guess, online tribalism, you have to take the position that there's just no way he's ever going to say like, yeah, actually, I think that, you know, Ethan has a right to be upset here. He would never say that. And so he has to like find a way to get to supporting Hasan or shielding Hasan from any kind of criticism. It's like, well, technically, you know, the way he worded it would clear him in a court of law or something. You know, I wouldn't say it, but, and then ... And then it goes into like, I mean, what are they even going to follow this up with? If you're saying you wouldn't say it, then you're kind of validating the fact that Ethan was upset by this. Like, you're validating that by acknowledging that it was a problematic, right?
Everything that he said up to that point, I totally agree with. And I'm not going to pearl clutch about a joke about a fucking former IDF militant in the middle of a fucking ethnic cleansing. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't believe in that. And I'm not going to
pearl clutch about, you know, a subtle reference to a not so subtle reference to potentially, you know, exploring the validity of killing Hila Klein. I'm not gonna pearl clutch about that. Like
pearl clutch about most jokes like that. That was offhand. He was trying to be funny. He was talking about a really serious issue, and he makes the totally correct point. And I would just ask.
Oh, I didn't pin the video.
Everybody consider we were talking about another conflict at the beginning of this live stream filled with tragedies, right? If a Russian soldier is in Kyiv and a Ukrainian person kills them, that would be like, you know, not murder, but an act of war where you're literally fighting for your fucking country, right? That's essentially what Palestinians are doing in the West Bank and Gaza. They're like, it's not fair to call it a war because it is a literal extermination campaign. And
it has been for the entirety of Israel's existence. Which, by the way, people, I'll hear this sometimes. Oh, she had no choice. You have.
I mean, that's just nonsense. It's escalated to very, very serious degree in last recent couple of years. But the idea that this has been an ongoing extermination campaign for the last 7.5 decades, is that what we're saying? That doesn't really make a lot of sense. But okay.
To be in the IDF if you're an Israeli citizen. You have no choice. You're basically drafted. You're forced to join. Not true. Not true. You don't have to fucking join. You can spend a year in a bougie ass prison where you aren't.
No big deal. That's no big deal, right? Certainly I wouldn't have gone. What, it's like a year, you know, 2 years, 3 years, isn't it? Hold on. How long is the punishment? The punishment for refusing IDF service can vary, but generally individuals may face up to 3 years of imprisonment. In some cases, especially for reservists, 3 to 6 week prison sentence may be imposed for refusing to serve. Up to 3 years, guys. That's not like a small amount of time. Yeah, what's a few years, you know? What's a few years? It's like, come on, you know? Especially like 18 to 21. Like, yeah, those aren't important years. 18 to 21, what were you doing? Fucking nothing, right? You know, it's not like you're, you know, figuring out the world that you live in and you're starting to understand that the world doesn't revolve around you, and you're starting to understand the importance of autonomy and self-reliance and, you know, the ability to provide for yourself and take care of yourself. And it's not like it's like a deeply formative time of your life, you know, 18 to 21 years old. It's like, what 3 years in fucking an Israeli prison, and you're like, you know, it's so fucking comically presumptuous and egocentric to just imagine like me if I was in that spot. Easy call, guys. I'll take that. I'll take 3 years of prison any day of the week. Okay, it's so easy to make that judgment call, you know, being born in the fucking United States of America. It's so easy to just say like, I wouldn't have done that. It's like, you know, being on pause while your peers move on. I mean, that's such a crucially formative part in someone's life, and to sacrifice that, you know, and I have respect for people that do that. There was recent examples of young Israelis refusing service. You know, I respect that a lot. That's not a small thing. It's a huge sacrifice. And these guys are pretending like it's like what's the big deal? You know, it's like, well, come on, you know,
flawedly citizen. Like you have no choice. You're basically drafted. You're forced to join. Not true. Not true. You don't have to fucking join. You can spend a year in a bougie ass prison.
Where is he even getting this too, by the way? A prison. What where is he getting this? Like, is there reporting on it? What are the prison? What kind of prison? Oh, what are they going to do? They're going to send you to prison with like fences and barbed wire and, you know, threat of violence if you leave. You know what I mean? It's like, what even is a prison? It's just a word, right? Like, what kind of prison is someone sent to for refusing IDF service? I mean, that looks like a fucking prison to me. They have a tiny television. They have like a tiny television. Looks like maybe there's a radio back there, but you know, the picture I'm looking at, that's fucking prison.
Not true. Not true. You don't have to fucking join. You can spend a year in a bougie ass prison where you aren't slaughtering.
This is not how prison 4 was like during Hila's time in the IDF. Prison was completely overhauled in the last few years. That's an interesting point. COVID stay-at-home policies affected teenage development. Now imagine being in prison for a year or more as a young adult. Yeah, exactly, right? And that goes on to your record. Future employers in Israel will look down on you for that, most likely. That's another thing I've been reading about too, is that it does impact job prospects. It's a profound sacrifice. Let's not fucking mince words. Let's not minimize it. It's a profound sacrifice to do that, right?
Innocent people and stealing their land. Something that any normal, sane, non-psychopath would find preferable. Yeah. 100%. Even in America, if there was ever a draft, I'd rather shoot myself in the fucking head than go participate in our illegal, war crimes, killing innocent people in Iraq or Syria. No, I would literally take a bullet to my own fucking head before I ever join. So I don't want to hear this shit that Hila Klein.
I mean, that seems a bit extensive. Why don't you just go to prison? I mean, you could just go to prison. You don't need to fucking put a gun to your head. I mean, like, this just seems a bit extreme, right?
Had no choice. She's just a victim of the system. No, she could have spent a year in a nice, bougie, air-conditioned fucking, fake jail, which again is not actually a prison. They're not.
Well, what are they basing this off of? Like, when did they become like prison experts in Israel? Like, what is this based off of?
Treating 18-year-old Israeli, kids that actually have a fucking spine and a backbone. They're not treating them like real prisoners. Obviously, it's a bougie fucking prison. So, that's what I.
Why does he keep saying this? Why does he keep saying this? I don't
think there's any excuse for doing this kind of shit, because let's take a look at what Hila's actually responsible for and the kind of shit that she actually participated in case anyone's not familiar. Hila Klein served as the aide-de-camp to the commander of the IDF brigade, specifically tasked with conducting security up.
First of all, LOL at taking Gato Fumador at their word. Why in God's name would you ever reference this account as like a reliable source of information? For the record, why would you do that? This is one of the most dishonest accounts. Like, they're just a fucking full-on propaganda account. They don't even really like hide it,
Operations, aka night raids in and around the city of Ramallah. She planned and participated in the illegal forced disappearances of people from their homes. What
a loaded thing to say. She was a secretary, and then one night, as a fucking literal teenager, she got bored and asked to go on a ride along. They took her. She didn't have a gun. She described the experience as very weird. It sounds like she did not like the experience. It sounds like she was kind of disturbed by what she saw. When I've seen her recount the tale, like, we all remember what it's like to be 18, 19 years old, Like, we all remember that. Should we morally judge an 18-year-old, a 19-year-old for getting bored and then wanting to, experience a different kind of thing? Someone who probably didn't have, hang on. Someone who definitely did not have the perspective that you would have now is, I'm not sure how old she is, like 35, 6, 7, something like that. I don't know what her age is, but she didn't have the perspective that she has now after living in America for fucking 15 years. She was literally a fucking kid. These guys are... I've said this line a few times, so I feel like I'm a broken record, but they are talking about her as though she was a fucking SS officer marching people into the ovens. Like, that's how they're talking about her, which is not an accident. This is a deliberate framing that they're going for. People like Gato Fumador, these fucking insane leftist accounts, they know full well that they're distorting the actual truth to make her look worse than she should be made out to be. Like, they know they're lying. They're just lying about this. They know that she wasn't out there like kicking fucking doors down, Jesus Christ, doors down, shoving guns in people's faces and fucking terrorizing. They know she wasn't doing that. They're just lying.
of which is still unaccounted for, and still no one knows where he is. He's probably dead, but nobody knows where he is. He's never been.
What are we doing? What is this narrativizing? What is this? Did you hear? Hang on, we got to watch that back.
Forced disappearances of people, conducting security operations, aka night raids, in and around the city of Ramallah. She planned and participated in the illegal forced disappearances of people from their homes, one of which is still unaccounted for, and still no one knows where he is. He's probably dead, but nobody knows.
What the what the bro?
Where he is. He's never been accounted for, and there's lots of evidence.
Whoa, who's that guy? Who the fuck is that guy? Me. I'm that guy. I was not expecting this. I didn't know I was going to be part of this.
To this end, you can hear her talking about it on the H3 podcast. People have posted clips of that exact thing. It's not like she tried to hide this. In fact, she used to brag about it and joke about it before,
She wasn't bragging about it. Like, when I saw the clips of her talking about it, she said it was a really weird experience. It was kind of messed up. Like, she almost sounds like fucking traumatized when she's talked about it. She's like, it was really weird. It was really weird. I didn't like it. Like, she talks like that. And they're recounting the tale as though she was bragging about it and gloating about it. I fucking hate these people. They're so slimy and dishonest, man. I hate liars. I fucking hate liars. Drives me insane. Are you really that petty? Are you really that consumed by a desire for internet clout that you just willy-nilly lie about shit? Just make shit up on the fly? Like, people work this way? You don't have any kind of internal dialogue to regulate that, to be like, is that actually true? Maybe I should look into that more. There's no voice that kicks in to like get more curious about these things. Oh, come on, Hutch, it's the Vibes Guard. You own the means of their mind. Yeah, true.
The genocide became so undeniable that now she kind of has to be like, oh, we don't talk about that anymore for obvious reasons. But yeah, I did. Loki used to be an actual fucking Nazi.
They talk about it constantly. I don't even know what the fuck. They've been forced to defend her on this like dozens of times in the last 2 years. They talk about it constantly. It's like this idea like, oh, she was hiding her service before. She was hiding it. Then why are there like 5-year-old podcast episodes where she's talking about the experience?
Yeah, that's crazy. Do we want to play one of these clips from the tweet right here?
Yeah, sure. I haven't seen this one specifically.
Yeah, I was the secretary of the head.
This is such a good litmus test. Like, this clip right here is such a good litmus test, because if you see this clip, because I have watched this clip a few different times in the last couple of weeks. If you see this clip and you walk away thinking, oh yeah, standard bloodthirsty IDF soldier. She's got the hallmarks of every IDF soldier that ever committed a war crime. Like, this is the eyes of a sadist, okay? There's nothing behind these eyes. If you watch this clip and you're like, oh yeah, no, this is problematic. Like, you're a fucking psychopath. First of all, just watch this clip, okay? Hold on.
Yeah, that's crazy. Do we want to play one of these clips from the tweet right here?
Yeah, sure. I haven't seen this one specifically.
Yeah, I was the secretary of the head of the. There's like a. I don't know the terms in English from the army.
Right. He was a officer.
So there was I was in Dukhifat, which is like a brigade,
Mm-hmm.
I guess, that's in charge of the area of Ramallah.
Mm-hmm.
And that brigade has like a main officer.
Mm-hmm.
So I was his secretary.
Okay, so you were right below the big boy.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah, I was the.
Why are you doing this like big? Like, what do they think that means? That she was like a planning, like she did like strategy, that she like planned raids. She just said she was a secretary. Do they think that she was literally the fucking number 2 on the base? What do you think a secretary means?
Secretary of the head of the.
Sounds like he didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, and then
It's the first sentence out of her mouth is that she was a secretary. Like, what are you alleging that she fucking did, you dipshits?
I mean, I walked with them to one house.
Okay.
I did get out of the car once, but surrounded with them. So
Okay. Did they arrest anyone that night?
they did.
Did they bring it in the same car with you?
No,
Oh, different car.
there's a few cars going.
Damn, that's crazy. Was it like? How did you feel? Was it horrifying?
It was strange. Very.
She doesn't even say she felt bad.
How so? Like how so?
I don't know. Just you see.
If you can't tell that she's obviously disturbed, what kind of emotional midwit do you have to be to not see that in her like speech, in her tone, in her demeanor? How are you not picking up on that? If you're watching this clip here and it comes across like she's gloating, that's just fucking brain rot. That's just full. If you can't see that, your internal bias is so strong that you just fucking can't see what's right in front of your eyes. They literally didn't see the clip before this moment. Their criticism before all this was based entirely on misinformation. Wait, what are you talking about? Do you have a video on a timestamp for me? They literally didn't see the clip before this moment. What's the clip before the moment? Now I'm curious. She looks disturbed in this moment, right? Like she's saying it was strange. And they see her smiling, but people oftentimes, like, guys, do I need to explain? Like, people oftentimes smile when they're uncomfortable. I'm sorry. How the fuck do you not know this? They're in their 20s, I think. This happens all the time. Probably most people have done that. They're uncomfortable. She's clearly uncomfortable and she's smiling, but she's not, like, she's obviously not gloating about what is happening. Yeah, Muda, if you wanna jump in like waiting room or something, I can pull you up. If is there a video that you're talking about? Oh, there you are. Oh, sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted to jump in and just let you know, like, go back like 4 minutes into the video before they watch the clip. That's all you need to see with these guys. You never have to like watch any more of their shit.
Wait, in the video that I'm watching, or
in the video you're watching, go right before they clicked on that clip. Like when they're like, we're gonna watch this clip, just listen to what one of the hosts says. It'll blow your fucking mind. Yeah. So when he like talks about like as soon as he starts like discussing this clip, just go a little bit before, and he's like, I never watched this. Like, I haven't even really seen this clip. That's literally what he says.
Yeah, that's crazy. Do we want to play one of these clips from the tweet right here? Yeah, sure. I haven't seen this one specifically.
Yeah.
Oh, they haven't seen that one specifically. That's true. Yeah. Like, first of all, how have you not seen that clip? And second of all, did you look for any like larger context there, or yeah?
It's funny because it's like they want to talk about this like prison, like they want to talk about this raid and everything, and that's the only clip that discusses the raid, you know, like that's the only evidence we have of that raid even happening. So it's like, how do you not like see that clip beforehand at all? And then also the other thing is like, I don't understand, like if this, like, let's say the raid was like completely illegal, yeah, that's a problem. But like they don't even know if it was like planned in coordination with like, you know, Palestinian like authority or something. So it's so weird to operate on like absolutely no information.
Yeah, when I looked it up, it was so the timeline of this was that it was like right after the second Intifada, and Ramallah, when I looked up information about what it was like in 2005 or 2006, which would have been right around the time that she would have like gone on this ride along or whatever, is that it wasn't like this terrorist hotbed, but Israel had established a presence in Ramallah because there were still some people that were enabling in or participating in terrorist activity in that city. But to your point, I mean, it's possible that they picked up somebody and you know, unlawfully, you know, like snatched them. But I
think just her saying like she finds it weird and she finds it wrong shows that she knew that there was something wrong with it, right?
Right. So yeah. Like, exactly.
She's not enjoying what she did. It's just like, I was at 18. I joined this raid that clearly, like, you know, there were people that were seasoned vets or something on that raid, and they're probably used to it. And she's just like, this is horrific and horrible. She wasn't going like, fuck yeah, we're delivering some justice over here. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. These people are.
You know, it sounds a lot similar to like one of the guys that I play Siege with and everything. Like he was in the Gulf War and everything, and he used to like he joined the army just because he needed the money. That's about it. And like he told me, it's like, bro, like a year in, he's like, fuck, it's just disgusting and horrible. That's almost what she sounds like. It's very, because she goes into it. She had like some interest, and then she's like, man, it just isn't all that glamorous. If she was on that podcast going like, fuck yeah, we gave those terrorists a good kick in the ass.
Yeah, then they'd be justified. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, now they want her, like, I guess, dead or something. It's weird. Like, I hit up Ethan about it. I was like, man, I hope you guys are fucking okay, because this is just insanity. He's going through a fucking fair bit. But I also heard, like, you got doxxed and everything, too, so.
I mean, thankfully, they didn't get the right address. So, like, they're, you know, it's just bad Empanada doing his thing. He just does that to everybody, but. Yeah, could have been worse. I don't need to worry about like 100 pizzas or anything, or God forbid worse. But yeah,
Hopefully everything's all good with you, man. I miss talking, but yeah, I gotta head out. I just wanted to come in and give you that like 3-4 minute advance, just so you know that people you're dealing with are not even putting in 5% of the effort that like anybody else is talking about this shit.
yeah, it's bananas. Yeah, it's good talking to you, man.
Yeah, man. Take care. You have a good one.
You too. She's just so obviously disturbed in these clips, you guys. The reason why I am so personally interested in this online beef is that I think it is indicative of a much, much, much larger trend. I think it gives you a glimpse into how these people operate. The people, and these are people that I've been talking about a lot more recently. I just feel like I got to a point where I started to see, I felt like, wait, this is going to sound like very douchey, okay? But I felt like I could start to see like the ones and zeros a little bit. Like I'm like, you know, Neo looking at the fucking code. And like once I started to see these patterns of behavior with these people, I just couldn't unsee it. And now I just see it every day. When I open up my feed and I check to see what these people are talking about, it's just so obvious what they're about. And it really feels like something worth talking about for me. I think it is a big, big problem. The fact that these people are so careless in the coverage of this stuff, they're basing their analysis off of, 20-second clips posted by Gato Fumador, who describes her as an aide de camp to the commander of the IDF brigade. Like, where are they getting this language from? Hold on. What is an aide de camp? She called herself a secretary. What is an aide de camp? What is that? A military officer acting as a confidential assistant to a senior officer? Wears a special aiguillette on the shoulder of his or her dress uniform? Is a personal assistant or secretary. Okay, maybe that's the correct one. But they used it. They intentionally used that kind of terminology to make it sound like way worse. Like when you look up aide de camp in Wikipedia, it's a personal assistant or a secretary. Why didn't they say personal assistant? Why didn't they say secretary? Why did they go with that specific language? He used the correct terminology. Why do you think he used that language? Why do you think he used that specific language and not secretary? Like, why do you think he dressed it up like that? It's obvious what he's doing. It's just obvious, right? Like they're trying to make it sound like way more nefarious. Aide de camp is like Hamilton to Washington. Aide de camp has a connotation of being a senior planner. Is that true? Hold on, no. Is a French expression meaning literally helper in the military camp. Is a personal assistant or secretary to a person of a high rank, usually a senior military, police, or government officer, or to a member of a royal family or a head of state. An aide de camp may participate in ceremonial functions. And the first aide de camp is typically the foremost personal aide. This is not to be confused with an adjutant, who is the senior administrator of a military unit. The badge of office for an aide de camp is usually the aiguillette, a braided cord in gold or other colors worn on the shoulder of the uniform. Okay, hold on. I don't say anything about like planning, helping like military planning.
How did you feel? Was it horrifying?
It was strange. Very.
She doesn't even say she felt bad.
House.
Dog, read between the fucking lines. Like get yourself some emotional maturity for 2 fucking seconds. Read between the fucking lines. Like, what do you think she means when she says it was strange? And she's given like 1,000-yard stare here. There's nothing about her body language or anything whatsoever to indicate that she's gloating, bragging, that she looks back on that experience fondly. They're pissed that she doesn't sufficiently grovel to them. She owes them not a single ounce of remorse. Whatever she feels privately about herself is her business. It's no one else's business. She doesn't have to demonstrate any remorse to these two people, to these two fucking jokers of all people. She doesn't owe them a goddamn fucking thing. Like, even they don't even know how to react to this because it's like, oh, wait, fuck. He says they haven't watched these clips yet. And they're like, I'll bet you, if it's true that they hadn't seen the clip yet, like, I'll bet you that they were expecting something so much worse. And now they're like, now I want to know, hang on, can we find the original VOD for this? Can I see where she goes with this story? I want to see where she goes with this story. I want to do like the base amount of fucking research that you should do in this spot, but She very obviously looks disturbed when she's thinking back. All right, here we go. We're going to watch the whole thing and decide for ourselves here.
And your whole family served in the military, right? Mm-hmm. How was your experience in the military?
It was okay. I didn't do anything like, I wasn't like a combative role.
Yeah, you weren't a fighter.
I wasn't a fighter, so I didn't have anything like crazy to tell. But I don't know. It's kind of like a mandatory job that you have to go to.
And you don't get paid for.
Yeah.
Someone said, "Is it like a?"
Wait, you don't get paid for it? What the? We watched that video Trace a couple days ago. You don't get paid for it? What the fuck?
Forced vacation?
No.
No.
It's more like a forced job.
Forced up. Because what did you do? What was your role in the military?
At first, I was given a role that was like in an office somewhat close to my house in Tel Aviv.
Mm-hmm.
And it was kind of like going to a day job in an office. It happened right after there was some kind of a second war in, where was it, in Gaza?
I remember that, yeah.
There was some sort of a small war.
Yeah.
When I was there. And so my job was to, like, when they send officers or like people to go serve, I had to like logistically help with like their hotel or a room, things like that. But it was all on the computer. It just felt like some computer thing.
Right, okay.
Okay, so she's not planning fucking attacks. She's not planning raids. She's literally doing administrative work, like securing travel and lodging for people in the military.
Okay. So secretary.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Secretary turns to aide de camp and prison turns to bougie jail. It's clear what they're doing. Yeah, obviously. To anybody who's not a fucking idiot.
It was super boring and I really hated it. Because it was just like, I had to take a bus super early, go there, spend the whole day, go back home.
But if you're young and you're bored and you decide that you want a change of scenery and so you ask to go on a ride along and you're young, so maybe you don't really have a full understanding of what you're doing. I think most people would agree that 18, 19 years old, you're still figuring it out. So you can say, oh, hey, can I go on a ride along? But the intention is not to do some horrible thing. You're just bored and you're looking for something to do. Does that give me the right, or anyone else the right, to judge her for this? Boredom is a weak excuse. She doesn't need to, this is my point. She doesn't need to excuse anything. Not to anyone. She does not owe anyone an ounce of remorse. She does not need to give you an excuse. You have no right to judge her for this. That's the point. You have no right to judge her for this. You have no right to judge her for this. That could have easily been you if you were born in Israel at the time. She literally did nothing wrong. I'll take that position. She did nothing wrong. Okay.
I hated it. So I tried to change my role. And it was something like you can apply for it and it's a form that you fill out and then they're going to give you something else completely random.
Different
you have no
position,
idea.
different post, different location.
So I decided to do that. And if I don't like the second one, then I'll just find a way to get out of the army.
It was that bad?
Yeah, I hated everything about it. Didn't want to do it. Because if you're doing something that it felt like I wasn't doing anything, like I was just wasting my life.
Yeah.
It could get really frustrating. I don't know.
Right.
And you got to do it for 2 years.
Right.
So I filled out that form and I tried it. And then I somehow ended up in a better place that I liked a lot more. Before it was a daily thing where you go back home every day. And the new one was in a way that was a base that was far from my house. So you go there for the whole week and then you come back for the weekend.
So you prefer?
I'm not a, ex-military or nothing. I didn't volunteer to serve or anything like that. But if I imagine what it would have been like to volunteer in that spot, and people can have completely legitimate reasons for wanting to volunteer. So the Frogans of the world that say that fucking soldiers deserve PTSD for what they did, I think it's just fucking bananas. What if you're in a really difficult circumstance? You're not really. I had a buddy. I had one of my best friends. Fucking Tim Shea, hell of a guy. One of the most unique people you'll ever meet. My buddy was like a combination of John Belushi from Animal House and Will Hunting. He was always like, he would always find the parties there where people had kegs. and we would just get fucking shit face. He was the one that introduced me to cigarettes and got me smoking. So I to this day, this right here is because of Tim Shea. We used to just fucking, it was the best, man. We would just get fucking shit housed at the beach, set up a bonfire, and then we, you know, I don't know if no one ever had those experiences before. It's like really special, you know, like you're at the beach, you're looking at the ocean, it's like kind of beautiful scenery, you got a bonfire going, you're just fucking drinking beers, smoking weed, smoking cigarettes, and just talking until 5 a.m. It was the best days of my life, you know what I mean? And he was this party animal, but his dad was both of his parents were college professors, I think, and his dad taught history. And so Tim was not the best student at all. Like he didn't make any effort in school, so he got really bad grades except history. He got straight A's in history, and he didn't even need to study. He just knew this shit. I can't even describe it. Imagine a 9-year-old who doesn't, a 9th grader that doesn't need to do any studying for any of the curriculum. He just fucking knows this shit just as well as the teacher. It was so that person is a huge ally at a beach bonfire party where you're drinking beers, because he can just fucking rant for 30 minutes off the cuff about like the French Revolution or whatever. And he struggled a lot after high school because, he went to the junior college up in Napa, and he just wasn't, he was never good at school. That was never his path, right? So he did that for like a couple semesters, maybe like 3 semesters, and then finally he was like, one day he told me, he's like, I'm gonna sign up to join the army. I was like, what? This was after the war in Iraq had kicked off, and he was he had this thing called the Democratic Bruise Crew. Like he was a hardcore Democratic Party guy. Like he was the first guy that got me kind of libbed up, because I had no interest in politics, but the way he talked about politics got me curious. And so it's possible that like he set me on a path to being a liberal. I went from being completely apolitical to that. And so you had this hardcore Democrat guy who just fucking hated George W. Bush, but he signed up to go to the army like when we were at war. And he told me, he was like, one of the reasons why he wanted to go was because of kind of like a primal sense of like a rite of passage for like a young man. Like he wanted to be like a warrior. It's not that he wanted to go and like kill innocent people, but I don't think the point is I don't think we should judge people for having a young brain and thinking about things in that way. He went on to become a Green Beret, bro. He was and he served in the was it the Green Berets that were in Mogadishu for Black Hawk Down? Was it a Green Beret? Or was it a Green Beret? Hold on. It was was he a Ranger? What was the Black Hawk Down? What were they? Were they Green Berets or were they Army? He was an Army Ranger. He was an Army Ranger 100%. He was an Army Ranger. He was like fucking elite squad. Fucking like the movie Warfare, like that shit, Josh Hartnett, he said that he served with people who the people in his platoon, is that what you call it? Was it the 101st Airborne or the 10th Airborne? I don't know what it was, but like whatever company he served in or platoon, whatever the terminology is, he served with dudes who actually met Josh Hartnett, because Ridley Scott had Josh Hartnett like hang out with a bunch of fucking Army Rangers to do research on the acting or whatever. And so I remember him telling me like, yeah, they said he was annoying and he would always bum cigarettes. And I was like, oh, okay. Ranger Battalion, is that what it's called? But somebody now like a Frogan type might look at someone like him and think, what a monster. You signed up to be a warrior, to go to war. What a monster. You want to kill like innocent people? But that was not what his head, I knew this guy. He was not trying to fucking go out there and like do war crimes. And I thought it at the time. I still think it now. I mean, I think it was misguided. It was misguided I mean, it was obvious that he was looking for like a sense of purpose, but the point is like we should not be judging people at that age for making those kinds of decisions. Like we have no right to judge people for doing that. We have no right to judge them for doing that. And in the case of Hila, sorry, I'm gonna be better about pronouncing her name. She didn't have a fucking choice. She had no choice. Anyways.
Heard that? Were you gone for a week?
I did.
Interesting. Why?
It was kind of like just more of an adventure, more of a different experience that I preferred than to just go to a boring job sit on the computer and go back home at the end of every day. I don't know.
Were you doing secretary work there?
So yeah, I was the secretary of the head of the. There's like a.
Oh, so she got bored, and so she thought, oh, you know what I'll do? I'll go commit war crimes. She got bored, and that's okay that she committed war crimes? Like, that's the spin. Oh, you think that's a good excuse? She was bored? She was fucking bored? You think just filling your time with doing fucking war crimes and disappearing hundreds of Palestinians personally? Throwing the burlap sack over their heads and torturing them in a facility? Probably. I don't know I can't prove that, but I just assume that's what happened. All because you didn't want to go to a cushy ass bougie prison for 1 to 3 years during an insanely formative time in your life. And you thought you would just fill your time by doing war crimes? Like, that's how these people's brains work. It's really something.
I don't know the terms in English from the army.
Right.
It's hard to translate. So I was in Dukhifat, which is like a brigade, I guess, that's in charge of the area of Ramallah. And that brigade has like a main officer. So I was his secretary.
Okay, so you were right below the big boy. Cool.
So it was nice. It was interesting. It was more demanding in a way, but also kind of more rewarding because you're put in this weird situation where you're like, you're away from your house. You have this new group of people that you have to get along with. And it's hard to explain, but for some reason it was more interesting. I enjoyed it more.
You told me once you went on like a...
Oh, you enjoyed your time in the fucking IDF, in the fucking terrorist IDF, you enjoyed your time? You enjoyed doing war crimes? You fucking enjoyed it? See, she's not sorry. She's proud of it. She's bragging. You see this? She enjoyed it.
With them? To like a terrorist city?
Yeah.
That was kind of a crazy story.
Yeah, my officers and like the
Also, let me know how crazy this makes me feel as a Bush liberal, anti-Bush liberal who now has to pick up the slack on patriotism because of this weird black pill populist shit we're currently buried under. Dude, I feel so fucking seen. You guys have no fucking idea. I feel so seen by that comment. You don't even understand how seen I feel so seen right now. I feel profoundly seen right now with that comment. Let me know how crazy this makes me feel as an anti-Bush liberal who now has to pick up the slack on patriotism because of this weird black pill populist shit we're currently buried under. Dude, you guys have no fucking idea. I mean, like, you have no idea how libbed up I was, how anti-government I was when I was 18, 19 years old. We went to war with Iraq in April of 2003. I remember so vividly exactly where I was and what I was doing the moment it came on the news that the rockets started flying, because we did three days of just heavy bombardment in Baghdad. I think they called it Shock and Awe. It was Operation Shock and Awe, and it was just 3 days of just like pummeling Baghdad with rockets. And, obviously there had been a buildup to the war, and it just felt like this I felt like a sense of desperation, like someone's got to step in and stop this war from happening. Like someone's got to do something, It was like a year of building up to that war. And then once I saw those rockets flying on TV, I was like, that's it. We're actually doing this. And every day I felt deep shame of being an American. Like a deep sense of shame. And it felt kind of surreal to me. I mean, I was very, very young, right? But like, it felt very surreal to me walking around and just doing normal things, going to my job, going to the store, going to the DMV. Everybody's just living their normal lives in this Northern California suburb that I grew up in, while these bombs were being dropped and millions were being displaced, thousands were being killed, and we were just doing this awful thing. And I just felt so fucking disturbed by the whole thing. I had my fucking... But bro, I was that obnoxious guy that I fucking hate now. Like, I pull up behind a car and I see like 18 bumper stickers that are political. And in Los Angeles area, it's usually like anti-Republican stuff. The coexist bumper sticker, and they got like fucking John Kerry 2004 bumper sticker and shit, they still have their like Barack Obama 2012 campaign bumper stickers. I see that shit is so obnoxious to me now, but back then I had like the entire back of my fucking shitty car, this Mazda Miata that I don't know, it was like a Honda Civic. It was like a 2000, it was like a fucking 1998 Honda Civic or whatever or Honda Accord, I don't remember. Just the whole back panel is like, fuck the war, fuck George W. Bush. I can't remember what the other ones, but it was just, the whole thing was just packed, like fucking, like a Benjamin Franklin quote that I thought was so profound at the age of 18. Those who would sacrifice security for freedom deserve neither, like that shit. I don't even know if that's a quote that is confidently ascribed to him. I don't even know if he actually said that. I hated America. I'll tell you what, I hated America. I hated this country. Fucking hated it. I was just seething in rage 24/7. I hated the country so much that it made me like hate people, like I hated people. I'm in Northern California, the birthplace, literal birthplace of the anti-war movement in this country. We birthed the fucking hippie anti-war movement in fucking Berkeley, like 45 minutes away from where I grew up as a kid. And I hated everyone around me. Even though fucking 80% of the people there probably agreed with me, I just fucking hated everyone. I was like, look what you're all doing. I'm the only one that cares. I'm the only one that wants to stop this. And we didn't have fucking internet. I mean, we had internet back then. We didn't have like social media back then. So I didn't have that outlet. Like I couldn't find a community of people. If I had the internet, I probably would have been even more radicalized, I was just radicalized to hate this country. And so for me to go through, Trump 2016 to like now, and now I have this totally different perspective where I'm actually, it was Trump that got me to appreciate things that I just never appreciated before. Like, it's actually kind of dope that we have constitutional rights that prevent Donald Trump from just arbitrarily imprisoning people without habeas corpus for political dissidents, like it's actually kind of dope that I can communicate criticism of the government and not have to worry about fucking going to jail. It's kind of dope that we have co-equal branch of government that limits what presidents can do unilaterally. It's kind of dope that we have a criminal justice system, Fourth Amendment, and right to due process and these things. Like, he got me to appreciate America's institutions in a way that I just wasn't capable of doing before. So like I went from like fucking hating this country during the Bush years to now I'm like, I hear the black pill lefties talk about how America's awful. And now I'm that boomer that's like, hey, why don't you say that shit in Iran? Like I'm that fucking boomer that's like, hey, how did that happen? But I'm not, but I didn't turn into a conservative. So I'm still like a liberal, right? But I'm like this liberal that's super pro institutions and, it is very like surreal when I look back, like that journey from super anti-American, anti-Bush liberal, or I guess young leftist, right? Like I was a leftist back then. I was very anti-capitalist and, I was like very judgmental. Like I remember being young and having like Frogan-like takes. I remember being like 18, 19 years old and thinking these fucking stupid kids signing up to go to that war. These fucking idiot kids. I was like super judgmental of service members, that volunteered to fucking, I was so judgmental of them. I was just, it was misplaced. It was misdirected anger. It was self-righteousness. It was lack of empathy. And it was because my buddy went to war that got me to think about things differently. I'm like, wait a second, if he's going to war, then maybe not everybody that serves is fucking horrible, right? And then like now I have a completely different perspective, right? We were all like that, then we grew up. Yeah. But the thing is like I feel like social media now, it's arresting people. It's stunting their growth. So I went through that period and then I learned various lessons along the way that humbled me and got me to think like, oh God, what I think I've been wrong, like profoundly wrong about this judgment that I've been carrying every day that has really impacted the way that I interact with people. It's impacted my own mental health, these extreme judgments that I was making. And then you go through these. Social media really didn't become a thing like on a big level until I was 25, 26, 27. And by that point, I had already been humbled enough to rethink certain things or to be open to new possibilities. But if the internet had existed at the time when I was 18, 19, and I was going through that really intense, like, anti-America arc, then I could totally imagine getting stuck in that place. And now I'm having a kind of epiphany because I'm thinking to myself, well, wait a second. Does that give me the right to judge these fucking young, obnoxious, crazy lefties the way that I am? Isn't it the same thing as like me telling people not to judge Hila? Are they not a product of their environments, the same as she is? And now I'm questioning everything. Isn't that funny how life works that way sometimes? Politics is a judgment-free zone, true.
The soldiers in that brigade, they would go every night on a raid in Armada to arrest terrorists. And so I always saw them preparing for it and leaving, and then I would stay in the base. So one time I wanted to go with them just to experience it.
Why? You just were all of a sudden had an urge to go with them?
I just wanted to see what it's like. I wanted to see it.
Okay.
So they took me with them one night, even though they weren't supposed to.
Did they armor your ass up?
You're driving in this like Jeep that's bulletproof.
Right.
So I was in the Jeep, and then as soon as we entered Ramada, the people in the city started shooting us.
Wow.
And I heard like a bullet hit the Jeep like right next to my head.
Did it like dent or just
No, you just hear it?
It's a gnarly armored Jeep. Okay.
And I mean, it was just interesting.
They were shooting. So someone actually was shooting the car when you went in there right away.
Yeah.
Huh. Did you have a gun on you?
I didn't.
You were not supposed to leave.
No, yeah, not really. But even if I walked with them to one house.
Okay.
I did get out of the car once, but surrounded with them. So.
Okay. Did they?
Just had to go from the desk job because boredom. Cyber, how old are you? Cyber Life, how old are you, buddy? Let's hear. How old are you? I want to know. Cyber Life, how old are you? Do you feel comfortable telling me that? You're in your 20s? It shows. I'll just say that much. Yep, that tracks. Seems about right. Now I'm being a little bit of a prick. Just had to go from a desk job because boredom. It's like, yeah, young kids in the fucking military, you don't think they get bored? You don't think you would get bored? You don't think you would crave some kind of stimulus outside of fucking paperwork every fucking day? You don't think you would get bored and you would similarly maybe like ask? I mean, I feel like I would have done literally the exact same thing. And I feel like I would have gotten in trouble because I would have asked all the time, like, guys, come on, take me with you. I don't want to fucking be here. I'm fucking setting up like appointments for this dude, booking his travel, and it's horrible. Like, just take me with you. I don't want to be here. You know, like, why do people think that this is a basis to fucking judge someone so harshly? Young people get bored. Everybody gets bored, but especially like young people, especially a fucking 18-year-old.
They arrest anyone that night?
They did.
Did they bring it in the same car with you?
No.
Oh,
There's a few cars going.
Damn, that's crazy. Was it like? How did you feel? Was it horrifying?
It was strange. Very, very weird.
How so?
I don't know. Just you see people in the.
This is the part where she obviously looks like very disturbed, right?
How so?
I don't know. Just you see people in the house, and then it's like the soldiers just walk into the house and look through their shit and find guns, and the whole thing is really surreal.
I just don't know how you could watch that clip and come to the conclusion that she's out here gloating for her IDF service. It's just so dishonest. It's so dishonest and malicious. That's the word. It's malicious. Let's define malicious, to really put a button on it. Characterized by malice, intending or intended to do harm. That's what this is. They're just blatantly, transparently, dishonestly. Is that an oxymoron? Transparently dishonest? It kind of works in a way though, right? They're blatantly, transparently, dishonestly, completely mischaracterizing her anecdote to paint a picture of her as though she was this bloodthirsty IDF war criminal. And it's fucking disgusting. It's like unimaginably cruel. And they just pile on day after day after day after day. They just pile on. I can understand going after Ethan. Like, I'm firmly team Ethan in this whole situation. But I can understand going after him because he's like fucking Ethan is on a fucking mission, right? Like, he's on the front lines. He's declared war, But the targeting of her specifically as a way to get at Ethan is just fucking disgusting and malicious and gross. And it kind of reeks of misogyny, if I'm being honest with you. Your favorite podcaster's wife potentially deserved to be killed. An interesting way to phrase that.